when Hip was on it. So that's a fun little factoid. He knows exactly what he's coming up against. When they think they're better than someone, they don't really need to play their normal game. And I guess it's sort of like concealing your strats in some of the other games. Here we are on the map, and it's going to be Bind. That's actually where they played the Hip roster with the full attack, full DPS composition, just to take duelists over the stage, over the slows.
Well, Bind is going to be an interesting one, right? It's one of the stable maps, one of the ones we had earlier in the beta. It's one where at least Giants will 100% feel comfortable because we still see Ascent in a position. And the thing is, right, I'm not sure how long we give teams this kind of caveat to say, oh, we're not really too fans of Ascent yet, yada, 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 because it's now been there for a while. I think with its only 4 maps in the pool, you should know all of them clearly inside and out, but we still see some teams look a bit lost when it comes to a map like that. Bind, for me, this gives you Giants probably their best chance at it, but it also is NiP. They're not going to be worried at all.
Yeah, well, look, when you look at Bind, there's definitely going to be a lot you can do with the Raze. I think it makes sense why you've got both teams picking into it, obviously. But I definitely agree with your point about Ascent. Realistically, look, you can have whatever opinion you want. You don't like the map. You think it should be changed, whatever. If there's only 4 maps, you have to know it. You have to be able to play it. Okay, grit your teeth, but you got to know how to play that, especially in a format like this one, where the possibility for it to come out across the whole tournament is pretty much there if your opponents want to. Now, when I think about the teams that are in this tournament, it has to be mentioned, NiP are number 6 in the world right now. They are actually one of the lowest rated teams in it, obviously because we've got a G2 and a Liquid here. But Giants don't even come into the ratings. As we said, this is a roster that's being constantly changed. In fact, based on my research from what I was seeing, they weren't even going to play with the roster they have today. They were going to be playing without Star Wraith. So I don't know. That's how inconsistent it is. So the amount of preparation you can do when a day before the tournament, your lineup is obviously changing, that's a little bit worrying for me when you're coming up against a team that should be very well drilled.
Well, they're mixing things up. Let's see if it's going to make a difference. We're going into our opening round. See NiP starting on the attacking side. Giants will be on the defensive side.
Oh, they haven't got Star, so evidently they changed back. They sent us the rosters for the graphics and then changed afterwards, which again just speaks to the inconsistency.
Whether that's a good thing, maybe it's a surprise thing, we'll have to wait and see when it comes to being in the server and in the game itself.
Revealing area.
So Bind in terms of pistol rounds obviously is, well, at any map really, it can be very different, right? You can see lower level teams winning these because they simply get to take fights that, on the attacking side at least, you can play the numbers much more consistently. Now, when you've got NiP pushing all the way up towards this B site, completely unified. They're pushing together and making sure they can take the trades immediately. They've got Omen throwing out his smokes. This is going to be a rough one for them. Xer's had a great angle, but they pre-fired it, lighting him down to 13 HP, and then dash in from Looker to pursue and eliminate him. That's so aggressive, and a great start for NiP overtaking the B site.
Getting that benefit straight away of the Jet, right? Confidence. You believe you're the better players. You believe you're the better aim. You run straight in. You're not worried by it at all. Fearoff's on a nice spot as well straight away.
Gorgeous. They know they're pushing forward. They're waiting. The communication, everything about that is so well drilled. They sent in a boombot to confirm there were players here. The nade to finish off the last one. The Sova shock darts through as soon as they knew they were pushing. They literally couldn't have played that better.
Mitch, they didn't get in the bomb site. That's how well coordinated that is. That was Giants like, maybe we'll go at this timing, and by then Fearoff already sent the arrow forward. They all poked out at a very similar time. Great nades coming in at the end there from the Raze as well. That was a dominant first round, and Giants might want to try matching a bit of that aggression a bit earlier, you know, might try and push. You just all end up grouping up in one spot, and well, you paid the price for it.
Well, that's it. Xers was playing very passive because he was on the Cypher. He wanted to play B control by himself, but they didn't get the information in time to cause any rotates. So as soon as they pushed forward, Xers thought the pixel angle would be enough, but it just wasn't. This push on middle, there you go, Banks. They're trying a little bit of aggression, and I say trying. They at least got 1 kill out of it, but when you've got classics, that's a pretty good positive. And as we said, there's no heals possible, so at the moment, Sova's going to remain quite low.
Oh, nice spam as well from Hip straight away. He's going to try and get them tagged up through the walls. They're not going for any more risks pushing out too far. Is Rhyme going to check the corner though? He's looking, he's trying to push in. This is a very difficult choke point to fight from. You may have the better weapons here, but it can easily be quickly turned around. Rhyme, though, lands the headshot straight away. No problems at all. Only one left, and, well, it's ever so easy. NiP were clearly in control of that round from start to finish, but they made sure they were very patient. They didn't just push in, right? They were still checking their corners, checking the areas, because they know how quickly it can all go wrong.
Giants are a team that come into this tournament definitely not as favorites. Probably favorites to go out last, if it was me. So when I look at them, a game versus NiP, this is their chance to prove it. Because let's look at the list of teams. Who are they likely to beat? NiP? But when we look at G2, Liquid, no. That's not a team that they can realistically expect to be beating. Even the likes of Bubble and the now FunPlus Phoenix, I wouldn't put them above. So those two teams and NiP are their best chances of making it through. And if they can at least get a good scoreline here in their opening game, that speaks positively about what they can do.
Straight away, we're going to see Yuri just go for the poke early down here, looking on B long. Just wants to make sure if there's any aggression coming up, he's able to spot it out.
They are using a lot of their abilities very early on.
Yeah.
You've got the Sova drone down middle, the immediate slow from the Sage out on long. That's wasting 1 out of just 2 when they'd already spotted nobody was there.
And would you be using that? Like against the G2, I definitely would, because you'd expect them to be a very fast-hitting team. But like against the NiP, who do be a bit more cautious, I'm not sure if I'd be spending utility that early on.
No, not when you've just peeked the angle and you know, okay, maybe they're behind the cage, but that's the best case scenario. I would just leave it, let them get a little bit closer. We've already seen the first 2 rounds played out very slowly by NiP, so like you said, the chances of a faster play are definitely pretty low. The wall's being used up. We're at 45 seconds, but the majority of this utility has been burned up over towards the B site. And okay, they've got an extra player here, but these fights are still going to be quite difficult to win.
Oh, Lucka straight in with the ult as well. He's looking to claim this round in style. Misses a few knives though. That wasn't how ideal. Yuri's in a nice spot round the side. They pop through. He's only able to get 1 though. Rhyme delivers it with the pistol. But this is actually looking like a good hold so far. They're hanging on strong. They're trying to push around. Lucka doesn't even know where to look or where to turn when it comes to this. And now Rhyme saying to himself, what can I get done? I'm all alone. Got 100 HP. I've got all the armor up as well. Oh, nice use of the camera. Has been spotted onto 1 player. But this is so tough, 4 versus 1. They tried to push into this B site, and it certainly did not work out. Timer just goes down. He will hold on to his weapon at least. There's a positive there for that side of things. But that was much cleaner. Faster rotate camo from Giants as well.
Yeah, that was actually quite heartbreaking considering the HP on the Cypher, on Xers and Donk, they were like 10 HP each. So that could have went their way much. It could have went much differently over towards the Vodafone Giants side, but they managed to win it out in the end. And that's on the back of Donk, the man that almost dropped. He was 19, almost 20 kills up against G2. He did a fantastic job. That, of course, was on Ascent, so we're not quite in the same ballpark this time. But it's not like G2 can't play Ascent, so I definitely take... Oh, great info early on by Ryan. He spots out 2, pushing into bathrooms. On the back of that, these players are moving very aggressively up towards Hookah. Now, the hip can be very useful in clearing out this angle, but it's going to be Fearoth just moving forward, getting it all the info for himself. They're in Hookah now. They've got the most important map control on Bind, and they can really slow down the play, even more so than usual, especially now that 2 to 3 of them have been spotted by that drone. And the position by Kree. It's always nasty when you send your drone through and they get control of the TP. Cuts off that fast rotate completely.
Yeah, he snuck in there as well. I'll have no idea. Hopefully they'll check it if they want to try and use it.
Spike's on its way to A at the moment. And so they all are. And see, that's the benefit of getting Hookah early on. You know they haven't got any info there.
Yep.
They do not know if you're pushing or ready to push out onto the B bomb site in an instant. And so this rotate to A pretty much guarantees you that at least it's not going to be stacked. And in fact, they've got only 2 players here to deal with.
Fatino's going to have to get the early shot in here. They won't be able to spot each other out now because of the Cypher cage. Information is going to be had though. Their position will be revealed just a little bit. Takes the first few shots, trying to get the spam on go, but Jonba can't make it work. Lucka snuck through. He's found himself the first, but now they've got to try and push in as that spike has landed down. Jonba, oh, right on. They're just bypassing each other. No way. So unlucky. Fearoth manages to take him out. NiP are looking strong in this round. Everyone's still alive. No one going down, and they go straight for the bounce back.
Yeah, the coordination definitely wasn't there for Flirtino. I don't know if he didn't get the info, but Looker was holding it with an operator. They spotted that out, and then he still just wide swung out dry. There was no smokes down. There were no flashes going through. It was just straight on out and give him the kill. And that's a big problem. For Vodafone Giants, obviously, flashes aren't even possible for them at the moment. This is not a good start. I mean, look, they win the first buy round, yes, but it's off the back of, first of all, individual performances, and secondly, Looker missing all those knives. Had he have taken out Xers, that B-bomb site would have been pretty much open for the taking. And in a round like that where they lost map control, didn't manage to react, 3 stacked B, even a minute after they lost the control and had 0 info, that's a massive hole that they now need to patch up. And I think they're going to be much more paranoid about making those stack calls, need to get more info, which feeds into NiP's slower play style.
Jump around the side. He's able to get one. Takes a lot of damage. Can't reach for the weapon, though. It will be a kill, but it's not going to seal the deal for them yet. It's giving them hope, but is it enough to grab them the round? Luck is starting to be a bit more cautious now. Hoping someone's going to poke up into his crosshair. He's poised and ready. Another recon bolt going to be on the floor. NiP's trying to find some information, but it's Hip that's gone down now as well. Surely NiP won't fall to the pistols here.
This is definitely a bad start. And Shock Dart finishing him off as well. Looker manages to pull back a frag, but a close range fight for Donk. He's not able to get the shot off. The op missing though. Fearoth gonna try to shock him down and deal the damage from afar, but he swings out right into the ghost that was holding him long range against an operator. It's a brave play, but one that pays off this time as Rhyme falls, and so do NiP in round number 5. 3-2, and a great bounce back considering what we saw in the previous round.
I'm super impressed by the pistol power coming out from Giants. That was good. You saw at the beginning, right? You looked for NiP where they were going to push. Here you see it from Jomba. At first they were looking like pushes of Wolfpack, but I think it's Lucker there. He backs away just a little bit, and I was like, okay, that doesn't make too much sense because you're going up against like either a low buy or pistols, and it looked to be the smart decision from NiP to start off with, go together, but then they just left the Omen to push forward on his own.
Yeah, it took... see, that was the benefit of the nade that came through. Fitino, I keep saying his name wrong. Sorry. I keep saying Flirtino because that's the first time I read it that way. Oh my god, the straight up aggression completely backfires. Xers, Yuri, Donk all fall immediately. And out of nowhere, it's a 4 versus 2. The B-side's completely open. And we said we wanted to see Giants try and adopt that little bit of aggression early on, but I don't know if they'll be trying it again after how poorly that one went.
No, that was a bit of a smack back for sure. Giants, they wanted to mix it up. They wanted to catch NiP off guard with a bit of element of surprise, but it backfired in a huge way. Now with the spike down, it's just going to be saving time for the remaining 2 Giants players. But we all know how it can be, right? You may think you're saving. You may think it's going to be nice, but if the players start to push around, they'll be in a spot of bother. And it's the Cypher who's actually going on the hunt right now, who they might end up running into. Depends if he's going to continue to push all the way around, and well, it looks like he's going to try.
He's got the angle as they come out, but now spotted. So it's unlikely they peek this again. They can just look down towards CT and maintain that control. Rhyme's looking for any opportunity to take a weapon out of their hands, but it doesn't look like that opportunity is going to be coming. And so 2 weapons saved over successfully, even with the shock dart through to the right side. They were both full HP either way. Yeah,
it's had too slow trying to spot them out and go on the hunt for the weapons. But they did apply the pressure to the Giants squad. They made sure they wouldn't be just sitting comfy, sat back and holding on to their weapons. This was just crazy. They tried, right? They had the idea, they had the plan on play, but NiP, they're not as aggressive as they were this time around, so it backfired in a big way.
That wall, I don't know if the purpose of it was to go horizontally like that and try to bait them into thinking it was walled off and safe to push and catch them off guard with the wide swing, but either way, it definitely did not work. This push looking to come through by Hip. The bot didn't spot them out. The nade is good, but it shouldn't do any damage. It'll just push them back off that angle for a little bit. Yuri's going to count to 3 and put that wall up in a second. Or no, his teammate's actually holding a little bit wider. There's the op shot. Immediately afterwards, the wall goes down. And so they maintain control of Hookah, at least in the beginning of this. 1:10 left on the clock, and NiP will look to late seize that. They're grouping up as 3, breaking the wall together. And once they clear this out, they again open up the options to push into war. Never mind. The A site's no longer an option because Rhyme's just fallen trying to get aggressive on middle and find an angle around that smoke. They've also pushed Jonba all the way up behind, and at this point, I think they pretty much have to just commit to the B side.
And look at all the information for Jonba. It's just beautiful, right? They knew Rhyme had gone down. They know it's going to be no chance of it going towards the A site just now. They can rotate the extra player over. They should be able to hold on to this comfortably unless NiP pull out something special. The ult goes out. Well, he is able to land it, but he needs a hell of a lot more than that. Oh, no! Just about gets out in the way of the ult. Hip goes down. Still one alive. Yuri's got an idea of where they're going to be coming from. He's got really low health, but he's trying to run all the way back. But he might just be running into a trap, and it's Jonba. The single-man trap, he'd already pushed the whole way around. He was just waiting. He knew that might be an option. And a 3rd round secured. Giants are looking to try and even it up right here and now.
I think there was almost no other option but to continue forward there for Hip. He threw the blast pack on the floor just as the ult started so he could propel himself through. Had they have waited for it to fade, there's 2 things. First of all, you know that they're going to be now anchored down on the B side. They'll use that ultimate if you just stayed back in Hookah to set up for when you do push out. And then you'll have a crossfire to deal with and you're probably losing the round. The second thing was that they had had so little time that dealing with that crossfire wouldn't really have been an option. So if they were to win that round, Hip going forward was the only way. But about 1 in 10 times, that goes his way. The rest of the time, the ult takes him out, or he just gets peeked like that as he's flying through the air.
Slow down Boobot's not going to be a problem for him at all. Ooh, that's really nice. He's going to hit. Manages to get it once, looking for the next. They nearly line up nicely for him. Fearoth doing a bit of damage, but couldn't find the kills just then. A well-placed attempt at getting his ulti on, but this has allowed the rest of NiP to start push up B long, and they're not even close to contested just yet.
Great heal that went through by Yuri, but he's taken down afterwards. And Fearoth, taking out Xers, clears out Hookah completely. They know that Donk normally plays towards elbow, and they easily amputate that limb, leaving the B bomb site completely undefended. And as the bomb, or the spike, goes down, we're left with Jonba. They know exactly where he is. They've just heard the teleporter close, so even if he made it through there undetected the first time, he's definitely not now. And just baited out by the shots onto the wall. Hip takes the kill and leaves Fitino to save over that operator.
Yeah, he's got to save it at this point as well, and quite easily NiP will go on the hunt for him. They're actually pushing all the way around. If he doesn't check his corner, he might pay the price. He has been spotted. He goes in for the pick, but it's not going to work out. Kriya easily delivers the headshot. No weapon's going to be saved, and 5 players alive for NiP as they grab that 2-round lead once again. So Giants, they're making some of these crazy rounds, that pistol round, be competitive. They try to get aggressive. They're trying to mix it up a bit here. This round, they went for a bit more Hookah control, but they were pushed back ever so easily.
I think about Giants, I mean, these guys are all very experienced FPS players. So even though I'll come in and say they haven't been together as a team that long, their lineup is changing, they definitely have the fundamentals of an FPS, a competitive FPS shooter nailed down. But adapting that to Valorant against a team that's been together as long as NiP have is very difficult. All these guys come from ex-Spanish CS between, like, they will have retired 2018 up to 2020. I think it might have been Donk that was playing most recently. So they've definitely got the experience on a decent level, you know, playing on the Movistar Riders or the Vodafone Giants from their region. But and look, we've seen players that weren't necessarily on the tier 1 radar within Counter-Strike come in and dominate. For example, like Patatex, he's reached completely new heights here than he did in Counter-Strike.
It's certainly possible if you've got the drive, you've got the dedication to get it done. That's a nice shot landed though. Rhyme tries to jump out the way, but it's not going to be. Oh, Locker out in the open! That's huge. That's a way to get it done. They're going to push their way into the A site. But Xers is not going to make it easy for him. The spike may be planted, but this is still a game that Giants can win. Cypher, information being uploaded on. Is it going to be enough to help him, though?
That's the thing. Well, they've spotted one pushing over towards CT. They know that the defender spawn is under threat. Nice shot by Looker. Shuts down most of the threat of the defenders getting back in, though. They know exactly where Donk is, but he swings out and headshots Looker out of the game. He might actually have a chance at this. Fearoth on the rotate through Bath. The smokes are going to go down. He thinks he's on middle. The smoke on the spike itself as he taps it, sticks it halfway now. In comes the shots. They have to land. 30 HP, but he's got it. He diffuses inside the smoke, the ninja, and even deals with Fearoth afterwards. That is so unfortunate for NiP, but they lose the 3v3. And Vodafone Giants get 5-4.
And that 1v2, right? That was huge. He swung so wide and got Lucker. That's a risky pick to take. And then the way he clutched that just puts the smoke down. I was worried that he was going to go and put the smoke down towards short and then just see that he'd come all the way around. Instead, he puts it on himself, uses it smart. He gets spammed up. He's very lucky not to have been shot down and taken out, but still another key round here for Giants, and it is staying competitive. It is staying close, Midge.
This is so unnecessary by Looker to continue holding that angle, but it's all about confidence, right? Yeah. He wanted to hit those shots. That's what you expect from a Jet operator player, but sometimes you get punished for it, and this was one of them. Just a couple of seconds to find that round, and they all go down to Vodafone Giants. Now just one behind their opponents. NiP, the clear favorites in this matchup, and on the first map of the best of 2, they're looking a little bit shaky.
Can he get off to a shaky start for sure? Their defensive side would need to be the strongest when it comes to this. I love this boost that we're seeing here on the Sage wall as well. This is the first time they've used it as well for Giants throughout this game at least. So although it'll be spotted and seen, it's going to give them a little bit of extra insight to know what's going on here. Hooker control will be had once again by NiP. But with the Omen smoke down, they're fine for now.
They will have heard Yuri pop that heel right up close. They know they tagged him up through the smoke or through the wall, but Yuri gets the kill onto Rhyme, jumps in for more control, and seizes back Hookah, a third on the board to Kree, and a 2v2 afterwards. They're now grouped up, able to push this together. No heal for Yuri, but he has got a res, and as they're rotating to the A site to plant this, Yuri's going to be able to pop that res and get this into a 3-on-2.
That is huge. Yuri, you said about it. He healed himself. It would have given the sound cue, but instead he still pops out, manages to save the day. But can they save the round now? It's going to be planted over towards the A site. That means that they've got to make a decision if they want to try and go for this. Lucka holding from spawn is going to be scary. The revivers come in. They do think there is a possibility. One of them cannot die here, though. Oh, Lucka does manage to land it. That's a huge problem. That's put maybe the nail in the coffin for this round, but Jomba's still on the hunt. He wants to go for it.
The ult has been popped as well by Looker. He's good to right-click on close range, but he misses. Now down to the pistol. Doesn't want to risk taking the operator out, and he's dealt with. Surely not again, as Vodafone Giants look to win this out. The time is low, but the ult this time for Fearoth. He's not going to be wasted away. Tags them up, goes for the finisher, not able to land, but time is so low. A shock dart through. That might save the round, but it doesn't. They're actually still able to get it done. Donk just about dodged the shock, still defusing on the edge of the spike, and 5-5 we go. Banks, we're in for one hell of a treat of a game. This looked like it would have been a one-sided one for NiP. I doubted Vodafone Giants from the get-go, but they are coming in hot.
This is Yuri's magic moment. Just healed himself up, manages to get the first kill onto the Rhyme, and the raise jump, this was phenomenal, straight onto Kriya. If he did not get those kills, that round would not be theirs. 5 for 5 right now, and this could be a completely even half, depending if Giants can just keep this momentum going forward. 2 in a row now for them. Can they get the last?
Yeah, the fact that they're trading them back and forth against NiP is insane. I didn't expect this level from Giants. This is fantastic. Now they're spread out into a default. NiP are taking this round seriously as can be. They do not want to rush forward and find themselves sprayed down by Donk or Jonba. Instead, they're going to take their time and look for map control. But even as they didn't even look for map control, they tried to hold it towards B, but instead Hip gets pushed down long. That aggression we've seen from Vodafone Giants, 2 rounds so far, both backfired. This time finally goes their way.
There.
Oh, Fitino, he has an idea of what's just happened. Kriya has snuck in the back lines, though. This could be a real big problem. Straight away, he gets the first kill. Damage been done. The spike's been put on the floor. Fitino's able to get one onto Kriya. With the Cypher upload coming in, though, that's going to be a problem for all of them.
Oh, that was so close.
He needed to land that shot if they wanted to try and get this done. It's 3 versus 2 now. They're outnumbered. NiP have control, but Bonk is starting off strong.
Looker's doubting himself. You know, he's peaked these fights a couple of times. Now he's playing super passive because they got punished before, but it's working. The double spray down as Rhyme and Looker deal with Yuri. Leave it into an easy 1v2 as Rhyme just swung out to trade his teammate, getting himself a 3K in the round and a 6th for NiP. Now you can see they're taking this game much more seriously. When they're left in a 3v2, they did still peak on the first fight, but then they took it slower and didn't just try to go for individual fights.
Interested to know how much they were able to spend on this round in terms of Giants, though. Last round, all important. Could even up 6-6. That Kriya movement was just perfect. Teleported in the first place, used the second one straight into a position they wouldn't have expected. And the thing is, he was even spotted out on the first teleport, so they knew he'd be somewhere. But the way he did it so quickly, that was just impressive on its own.
Yeah, it completely caught them off guard because they thought, well, we've spotted him. We know he's up on top. And then all of a sudden, he's in the corner, taking them down. It's the final round now. Angling up towards A early on. NiP very direct. They usually go for control towards Hookah. We've seen it again and again every round, even leaving Hip outside of it at a minimum. But this time it's 5 players. They want to fully push the A site, but they might be running into a stack. Xers is already on the rotate through the defender spawn, and this is going to be a rough one in a 5 versus 4 push.
Oh, Donk gets the jumping shot. Hip's going to get nothing in that one. But Lucka a little bit too fast, finds 2 kills, but Xers able to get some job done with the pistol, but this could be too much now. It's all on Yuri. He's put himself in a 3v1. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have his revive up either, so that's not going to be possible. With only the Sheriff in hand, this is going to be problematic to say the least. Spots out one, it's the Sova found. Throws the slowdown. Shock darts come towards him, that's less than ideal. He busts the healing very early there, he only gains 3 health. Because he lost the shield alongside it. NiP do manage to get the half 7-5, but Giants made that competitive from start to finish here, Mitch. They're going to have to really step it up, though, on their defensive side.
Yeah, that's a shame for Giants to have come in with such a strong performance and then still end up in this pretty... Like, it's not a great position considering how good some of those rounds were for them. I just worry when it comes to NiP, defensive side, Looker's going to get aggressive. He's going to start dominating on those operator duels. And I do feel like there were maybe 3 rounds, 2 to be conservative, that NiP could have won had they have been playing completely serious, not letting the confidence take the wheel.
And you've got to think as well how much this not having a Sage has affected them. Whether this is something we're going to see them try and take on going forward, whether this is just something that they're trying out against the Giant side of things. And we just found out as well, it's NiP that picked this map as well, right? So the second map, whatever one it's going to be, we don't know it yet. We'll find out once we have an idea of what agents are going to be played. But NiP have picked this map, so definitely one that they must win when it comes to it.
Yeah. Oh, here we go to open it up. Looker, we talked about him getting aggressive. Doesn't even use the dash to get out. He wanted to commit to those fights, and he gets a 2 for 1. That's a good start. Oh, and Fatino not able to get much done on range. A shock dart even going to come through just to soften up his teammate.
A slight error here from Giants, though, right? They went pretty much 1 by 1 when it came into this, so you don't really stand the chance on pistols like that, right? You know the defenders are going to have the position advantage. They're waiting for you. You push in 1 by 1, you get slapped. Like, look how it starts off here for Looker. Straight into it, lands the headshot. The other one there does try to get the refrag, but the raise is just far too late on it. When they're pushing round, once the first player had gone down, he should have committed rather than just hold back that little bit. It's those split decisions that you need to make that could be the difference between winning and losing rounds like that.
Yeah, those split-second decisions definitely bind you into a certain play style, but really they're not going to be finding their safe haven in this round. It's a shame, but look, I want to see them ascend to new heights, and hopefully they'll be able to do so. The cam goes straight down middle for a little bit of info. It doesn't spot any players, but it gets destroyed, which at least gives them the intel. There it is. Looker with the shot, and boop, he's out of there on the dash.
Oh, Looker. Oh, Looker.
He'll get it eventually.
The drone multiple times. Missing the shots they're going to try and push in. He could get quickly surrounded by the pistols here, though. Spike being planted. This is a really smart execute. It's come out fast and furious from the Vodafone guys on Giants, but can they seal the deal now? Rhyme able to get 1. Looker still just trying to pop through. He's got hardly any information to play off here. He's just been trying to find shots, but he's not been able to land them.
Yeah, it's been a rough one, but there we go. Donk is going to be taken down by the Marshal. 15 health left on Fatino, who was also tagged earlier on. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of that one. Fatino doesn't stand a chance against the Stinger on range. And although Fearoth isn't favored in that fight, really, it's not the kind of range you want to be using the Stinger on. The ADS after the initial spray is enough to finish that off. 9 on the board for NiP. They don't lose a whole bunch. In fact, nothing coming into this one. It is obviously going to still be a Stinger in the hands of one player, which should probably be upgraded. But all in all, you'd be pretty happy. And this is why I'm saying that, you know, Vodafone Giants, yes, they were just 7-5. They're only behind by 2 coming into this half. But that immediate early start by NiP puts them behind. They're now at the bottom of a hill looking to climb up.
I love that. Fearoth was like, that was my kill. Oh, no, wait a sec. Looker's behind me. Easy done. And he just follows the boombot for a little adventure. No problem at all for NiP so far. And this is where it starts to look scary for Giants, right? If they can't pick up a round like this, they get into a problematic scenario. Too big a lead coming in for NiP. A lot of confidence coming out for NiP as well. And Looker now still further forward. Hoping they're going to push. Hoping they're going to be the aggressors early on. Spots out 1. That's such an easy kill for him to make. Now, he has been spotted by the recon boys. Location's been revealed. He needs to get some backup from his teammates. And again, he misses 2 key shots. Not able to land the operator there. Yuri's able to find him. The slow's going to go down. The site is secured. The plant will be possible. 3v2. Sova and Omen, the only ones left. Solid wall off, gives them the opportunity to get the spike down. You saw how slow Giants went with it there as well, right? They're just being cautious. They're not taking any risks because they know how important this round can be. Korea trying to sneak all the way around. Don't think he's going to have the element of surprise at this time, though. They know how long it's been taking.
I mean, even if Fearoth managed to deal with Yuri, there's no way he expects the second player to be in a corner. This should be the round secured. The blind has blinded absolutely everybody. Causing a blast back to even be thrown out, and Curry, he's not going to get away with that one. Gets it halfway. Gun comes out, but he's shot in the back. Fatino gets a 3K to close out the first round on the attacking side for Vodafone Giants. Now behind by 3. Not in the bed. Look, it's not a good spot. It isn't. But they can make it work. If they can just continue to streak these rounds together, now that they're on the attacking side, now that they've got the rifles out, that's the thing. And they get to dictate the pace. You can see the patience is there. It's just getting those early starts that's really going to trouble them.
Yeah, this is the problem here for Lucka, right? Missing a few. It was short at first with the Marshal, now with the Operator in hand. He's gone for a bit of a closer fight as well with the Sniper Rifle. So now again, they're looking to take the same fight early on. Recon straight up.
We do talk about the benefit of the jet being the dash out when you take that initial op shot, but Looker decided to go into a corner and take a close range fight, which isn't normal by any stretch of the imagination. Now just on the pistols, you can see he's on top of the wall, but they're ready for it.
Nice try. I like the style, but it wasn't going to work out this time. Giants found their fast speed to get themselves into this. They are up only against the pistols, though. Rhyme trying to see if he can get any extra information, make sure no one's pushing behind him. And this is just so difficult for NiP at the moment. It's just like, yeah, may as well just back away, hold on to the little that we do have. It's better than nothing at this point. You're 5v3, you don't all have weapons in hand. Saving is probably the best idea. Korea may have gone down, but the other two will try to push away. Rhyme looking. We'll get one. Will he be able to get the weapon? Oh my, nice! Headshot comes out as well with the Sheriff. Eventually he does fall, but he's done some economical damage to him, right? He's taken weapons out of their hands. Didn't steal one for himself, but Hit was still able to hold on to his.
This is the round I'm really concerned about. You know, we have these much less in this game, thankfully, than in our home, or old home perhaps, of Counter-Strike. The ecos are... They're boring. You want to get them over and done with. Even in this game, they do feel much more relevant, and it's just due to the power some of these weapons have. Like Ryan here, look at that. You can one-shot headshot depending on the range. Sometimes it gives you 145 and you will be crying, but it does suck. But if you use a close range, you get that full 150, and it's beautiful. Now, for NiP, they get the weapons out. They've got everything they want. They've got the Operator, in fact, going to Fearoth because Looker had the ultimate. And that's another benefit of coming in on a jet. You can just pop those knives out. You don't have to invest, and it gives you a free upgrade.
Bit slower starting out here from Giants, though, and I'm down with it. They've got to be oh so careful as well. Especially on this kind of position. Look how close range the Cypher to back Looker up, ult in hand. They're making sure that even if Lucka does go down, they're going to be able to get the refrag here. Playing it ever so steady. Will Lucka be able to get the quick fire? Oh, nice one. Straight away into the head. Tries to get some more. Gets a second one. But Rhyme, he maybe oversteps the mark there. Doesn't go in for the refrag at the right time. The revives come in at the same time. And Fidino is going to be able to push his way in with his teammates now. That gives them a huge advantage in this one.
Yeah, Rhyme just completely blocked Looker. That play could have went much better. Good nade! Follows up onto Yuri. No heal now possible for Donk, who's left on 17 health. This 2v2 definitely winnable, but they try to retreat. And Xers is there waiting. He catches it off. It was a 2v2 on the B bomb site, but they didn't know about the flank. And as Xers deals with one, where does Hip go? Does he go towards Xers and try to save his weapon? No, he looks for the bomb side of B. If he can get in here and find the kills, maybe he can win the round, as unlikely as that may seem, and the TP just confirms it. There's now 3 players towards Hookah. It's time to run away, really. Getting it. Well, 2 shots missed.
Tino, be careful. Xers has gone down as well. There's not a way that he'll be able to take it, but you're losing weapons a bit unnecessarily there. Key shots not being made with the Operator in hand. It may be an 8th round now on the board for Giants. They're making it closer. They're making NiP worry, that's for sure. It looked like it was going to be such a good round, though. The way it started off for Lucka, it's just Rhyme ran straight in front of him. And it was like, well, now we've just lost our advantage. You see this, the first one's just a beauty. Boom, straight away. Then he goes in for it. But they're lining up. They're lining up. Oh, boys, you're too hungry for the kills.
That's the problem there for Looker. He can't go for the right click. Like, that range is perfect. Even with a little bit of RNG, you're going to kill them if you manage to aim at their chest. But he can't go for it because he can't fully see his target. So he doesn't know exactly where to aim, and you don't want to risk it. So he starts left-clicking away, throwing those knives, dealing some damage, getting another kill. But if Rhyme just waited and went for the refrag, as you were saying, he was set up to do initially, didn't get that little bit too greedy, that probably would have been their round. It was the Sage as well that was being targeted initially, and that would have been no res, and all of a sudden you're in a 3 versus 2. Or that's even if the players do end up going down to the last. But 9-8 is where we find ourselves. Vodafone Giants creeping up on the scoreline, capitalizing. That's something you have to give to them. Every mistake that NiP have made so far, they have capitalized on. They have punished them for it. And that's what shows them as a solid team. They are having trouble shooting a camera, but that's all right. Luckily, cameras can't shoot back. Well, not with damage-dealing bullets.
I do remember the bug, throwing your pistol.
I didn't use that, Banks. Don't talk about it.
Luckily, you were on my team, Mitch.
So you didn't have to rage. But no, that was an interesting day one.
It was a good time. That was a good time.
Well, that nade is cleared at the close right corner, meaning they only really have to focus. They have but 2 initial kills. Vodafone Giants, they're dominating this early fight. Looker's completely left heaven at this point, and honestly, you could be looking at a save. The thing is, Giants are spread out. They've got control on both sites, really. There was a point where they could have planted either A or B, and honestly, NiP wouldn't have known. As it goes down to the B site, though, it looks like they are just going to rotate through and save. 1 kill to Xers, but it's still a 3v4, even with the low HP. You see that Raze has got the ultimate up, and what that means is if you do decide to go for that retake, there's probably going to be 2 of you on an angle. There's probably going to be a rocket at your feet a second later.
Giants get some of these rounds, though, where it just looks so convincing. Razor sharp when it comes to it. NiP at the moment, I'll say with Lucka, we put so much on Lucka, right? He's been the phenomenal player. He's been able to transfer nicely over onto this operator, been able to deal so many damage. We see how aggressive he can get. He's been taking these aggressive plays and it's not been working out. You saw in this round just here, he went a bit more defensive still. He's like, I can't catch a break. Whatever I'm trying right now isn't working against these guys.
Yeah. Well, the reality is, Looker's missed a lot of shots and opportunities where he could have had it, and rounds have come down to that. Not just that, but then you've got players like Rhyme. Yeah, he's feeling it. 19 kills on the board, but a little bit too greedy, blocking him and causing a lot of trouble. NiP are making so many mistakes. Now, even down to the age and composition, it's much looser. It's an experiment for them, and they thought, well, we're only up against Giants. We might as well experiment. And if you look at their match page, they have only played 2 games. One doesn't even have stats on it because it was that low. It was round 32 of a tournament. Best of round of 32, I should say. And the other was versus G2, but they got 13-8. That was something I highlighted before. Donk is a damn solid player. All these guys come from an ex-competitive CS background, which means that they know how to shoot you in the head. They've obviously adapted to this game somewhat, and then obviously you combine that in with the fact that they did so well against G2, it makes for a worrying formula. NiP didn't come in taking them seriously, didn't give them respect, and now they're punished for it. I think there's at least 5 rounds. This game could be easily over in NiP's favor if they didn't continue to overpeak when they had 2 versus 2 bomb plants, if they just played the game the way they would against any other opponent in this tournament. Literally, I think any other team, they would have played a completely different game. But Vodafone Giants didn't get the respect off the bat, and this is what happens.
They took some presence towards A early on. They're just leaving the Cypher there for now. The rest of them going back towards B, starting to push up long. So Rolt being used. It's not connecting with anyone. Oh, he gets it, actually hits Kree. I thought Kree was able to jump out of the way, but it's not going to work. The Raze jumps forward as well. Tries to land it. Ult in place. They're just ulting their way to success here. Huge push in. B site secured. Spike going to be planted. And NiP, they need something huge to come up. It could be Hip and Rhyme to help them seal the deal coming from Hookah, but they're straight out smoked off.
Oh, good shot by Looker. The nade towards the side. He dashes right in, trying to get up close and personal with the operator, and it's success for NiP. With low HP on 2 players, Rhyme and Looker just about evade death, and the defuse will come through. Double digits reached first by the Ninjas. They're not out of hot water just yet, though.
No, they stopped a 4-round streak from Giants, and they managed to turn it around to get this round. And that was an all-important round. 2 early ult kills, the B site secured. It was looking like a clean round for Giants there. But NiP, with a bit of help from Lucka, he found that confidence. He started to land those shots. This one's the beauty. Look, boom, on the time, on the money. And the rest of them push out a Hookah, get the job done, and they get that 10th round finally now for the NiP side. Someone got to double digits. It was bound to happen, but it was looking like it was going to be Giants all the way. Yeah. Now, Fatino might be going aggressive here on short with the operator.
We're seeing a lot of movement in towards Bath early on, but they've got to leave the house and move in towards the site because mid could already be pushed on. There is a Cypher trap there, but they could be quite close. At this point, I think that's been spotted out as well by the Vodafone Giants. They realize that there is a tripwire there. It's being heard by Donk. And they're playing a very slow game. They're hoping NiP make the first mistake, but it might be Hexers. He's playing with death here as he comes around, and Looker is going to deliver it straight to him. The op shot to take him out, and a man advantage now for NiP, who get off to the good early start. And there's no ults in play now for Vodafone Giants to make the same kind of opening towards the site they did previously. Ooh. Looker's so aggressive, even without the dash remaining, but he doesn't get punished this time. Instead opens up room for Rhyme to take an easy fight on Yuri and eliminate any possibility of heals.
Needs to get some more kills done though, but it's Looker. He's still standing strong, holding up with the operator. Hip's able to find Jomba at the same time. Firino all alone. They knew exactly where he was locked down. They had all the other positions on the site controlled. 2 rounds in a row. NiP, they've woken up these last 2 times. They've managed to bring it back. And Giants, have they possibly started to run out of ideas here?
Well, if they're running out of ideas, at least they're not running out of ults, because they're just coming back up online. And something we've talked about many times in the past is the ability of a Brimstone on a map like this to dictate these fights whenever he gets his ultimate up. He can just strike down in towards Lamps on A and almost guarantee himself either a kill, or at least that the player has to push right into the open in front of them if they're there. And Looker's been playing quite consistently around that area with the operator. I'm curious to see that used. I think it'll be late round if they decide to move towards the A site. You can see that the Brimstone is in position there. Donk can get it down from Bath. I think early control on B is what we're seeing for now, and they'll switch focus. But there's 3 players in Hookah. 3. NiP are looking to hold this hyper aggressive, and that means that any possibility of falling back could disappear if they do peek right on into this angle.
Oh, the push through. Nice and fast. Hip went on the hunt. Kriya still standing there. Waiting to see if they're going to continue to push round. He is outnumbered when it comes to it now. He's going to back away. Wasn't even spotted. Nicely done.
Not kill my allies.
That's the problem, though. Fatino gets revived.
I have the spike.
The man advantage now swings back in favor of Vodafone Giants, who obviously don't have the ability to resurrect without having a Sage in play. The Brimstone ult still available. They're starting to move in towards A. They know, as I said, Looker's been playing in Lamps many times so far. Kree falls towards B. Now they're going to get ready to push up. Looker could be in danger. Finds the first shot. Dashes out of the way as well. The abilities of of Jet coming in to save the day. As Looker's able to back all the way towards Bath. Even gets a kill. And the ultimate now online if he needs to go close range.
Yeah, this is more like it from Looker. Round after round, he's been back to hitting those shots. We started to get a bit scared when he was on that defensive side. But we might need... Oh, yeah. Wow.
They've just been destroyed by Looker, really delaying for a long time. And the fact is, Vodafone Giants committed so much to that. They got the res through. They had a great advantage moving in towards that A side. I'm surprised we didn't see Brimstone drop down that ult. As I said, many times Looker's played there, but they completely ignored it, gave him the room to play with. And that peek as well. When you know you're going up against Looker, to peek around the corner so slow, first of all, and by yourself, no teammate there to trade, that was poor spacing. Something that you can't excuse coming from Counter-Strike.
1 round is all we need for NiP now to take their map pick. Remember, it's only a best of 2, and every game counts. As many points as you can get during this group stage. See aggression coming out from NiP, and they've held strong, but only just. They did manage to lose 2. Firov needs to be careful from both sides. Starts to look up more towards where Hooker and there might be a player coming from, but he's actually got to be careful of Long for the moment.
Well, that's all he's got to be careful of, because Fatino's all alone in a 1 versus 3. It's not the easiest. Firov goes out with the drone. This should be a wide swing straight away. Easy kill for Fatino. Maybe the access back into the game. He moves towards the site. Rhyme is delaying. Doesn't want to go in for this peek, knowing he's up against an operator, and it's likely at this point that that operator's just going to try to bait out a fight. The nade through just to buy a little bit of extra time. Looker pops the ultimate, and Rhyme holding the angle, waiting for that peek, jumps out, dodges the shot, and there's Rhyme finishing it off with a wall bang. Looker wasn't able to get it on the knives. He must feel robbed. But it's 13 for NiP as they take the first map, even despite a lot of mistakes being made, a very loose gameplay, a very loose agent composition, but it works out in the end. I wouldn't use a game like that to say it justifies not picking Sage. I think Sage is still a very pivotal agent in a lot of these games. It brings so much value to the table. But as we said in the start, if you feel like you're the better team, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Now, what's interesting here, right? Lucka looked great in terms of what the scoreboard is, but just some of the positions he had, some of the moves and decisions he was making were not usual for a player like him, right? We normally see a lot more success from him, especially with those close quarter angles. He came into it towards the end, maybe just needed a bit of warming up to it, but I think when it comes to it, some of those, it could have been a much more convincing win here for NiP on the first map had he been getting going a little bit earlier, because he was missing some shots that he definitely